Today's video is going to be a review of this turbo torch. One of the things that I want to be doing on my channel is reviewing some tools that I buy. So I got this a couple of months ago. I also have the acetylene oxy mix mall set that uses this acetylene with a bottle of oxygen that's about this big. I believe that's called the 20 CF. But you know, the tote is kind of big. It's carrying 2 bottles. The oxygen is bigger than this one. So I gave this a shot because it looks so much more compact using just 1 bottle. And I bought the little crate for it. This one's made by Turbo Torch, which is, I guess, the better brand. There's also Chinese ones that you can purchase a little bit cheaper. But how does it get away with getting hot enough with acetylene only? Is because it has a design that it's sucking in oxygen from the sides here. It has some ports, and it does some type of like vortex effect that when the acetylene is coming out, it pulls it out, the oxygen from the side, right here, and it actually heats up as much. So because the oxygen is being sucked in through here, you kind of don't need that oxygen bottle. It's obviously not the same thing because that's pure oxygen, while here it's drying air that has moisture in and all that. But in my opinion, for the use that these small devices set up use, this is hot enough. It gets extremely hot, and I really like it. And I'm not using that other pack anymore. Obviously, if I need to cut or do something with thick steel, like, I'm not going to use either one. I'm going to go with the big setup torch, you know, the big tanks, because the torch have more power. But I'll tell you one thing I didn't like about this. And I actually returned the first one I got, and I'm having the same problem with the second one. The auto ignite right here, it doesn't work good. You got to click this 20 to 30 times. Sometimes you can get lucky in the first few, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And you got to end up either with a striker or using a lighter. That really sucks, because one thing that I really liked was the fact that it'll ignite right here. But it has to do with how much acetylene pressure you let out, and the manufacturer says, I believe here, and you can check on yours if you buy one, a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch turn counterclockwise to open it. But there's like a sweet spot that's really hard to get. And again, this is the second one that I get brand new after returning the first one. It's the same issue, that it's just better to light it up like this. I'm gonna go ahead and open it. I'm gonna close it all the way and give it like a 1/4 turn to 1/2 a turn here. And then you control here the rest of how much you want, because they want you to limit how much you open this. And then here, you can hear, you know, the more you open it, the more pressure you're gonna hear come out. But even a little bit, you saw the pop and nothing happened. And it doesn't stay on. Let me give it more. A little bit more. And you could go on here forever trying it. And I don't think that I could have been so unlucky with 2. I'm closing it more. Nothing. So you see, I gave it like 10 shots there and it didn't work. And I tried 2. Now, I open it a little bit. Perfect. Just not worth the headache. But look at the amount, the intense of that flame right there. Give it more power. I mean, this will heat up quick. So to braise, solder, or heat small things up, I 100 recommend it. But again, disclaimer or disclosure that I'm not happy with the igniter. Now, this comes, I bought separate the torch itself, which is the hose and the torch, and the regulator is separate from the crate. But I believe they sell the crate together too. So you might look into that. And then obviously you need the little MC bottle. That's what this is called. Doing research, because I wanted to know why it was called an MC bottle and not like all the other ones that are by the cubic feet of compressed gases that they can take, whether it's a 20 CF, 40, 125, 150, 200. Apparently, the two bottles that I saw that don't use numbers is this one, the MC, and the B bottle of acetylene that's this big. Everything else uses numbers. For what I read online, and this is if we're going to believe the internet, back at some point, before the systems that we have now in cars were around, to have the headlights for the buses, it was with an acetylene bottle in the bus. I saw that online. I wonder how true that is. And I saw it in several places. That's why it's called the B bottle for a bus. And then apparently, according to that information, this was the MC bottle for a motorcycle. And maybe they used it in some, and same thing with buses, maybe on some or not, but I wonder what truth there is to that. But that sounds crazy. But then again, we drive around with a car full of gasoline, which in the future, that might sound crazy that we had such a volatile liquid, 20 gallons of it underneath our car that we're driving in. So who knows? But anyways, yeah, I recommend it as far as how it heats, how portable it is. And this one, again, it's made by Turbo Torch. Now, I make different ones. This is this model that came before this one that doesn't have where it pulls in oxygen. So you got to make sure you have this one here. And actually, you can disconnect here. And then they sell you a different type of tip also for it, which is the one that doesn't have the igniter, which you might just go with that one if you don't care for it, because like I said, this is not working that good. So that's my review. I give it, as far as heating and portability, compared to all other types that I've used, whether it's the double pack or the one that goes after that that's bigger, the medium one, for small things, this is the best one. I 100% give it a 10. Where I give it a 1 is in the igniter, but again, we could go around that with just using a lighter or a striker. I'll be doing more videos of different things in the shop that I really like, just because I believe that it can help some other people. So stay tuned. We'll be back. See you on the next one.